Good morning, Bob Barker Company team members. I just wanted to take a minute to give you guys a little bit of perspective on where we are 2 weeks in now to our NetSuite launch. I know that there's a number of you right now that are feeling like it's taking you longer than you would have hoped to learn and to find and to do what you need to do day to day in our NetSuite system for your job. And that you're thinking, gosh, I could really do all these things practically with my eyes closed when I was working in a Prize or Prod Pro or Cuss Pro or the WMS system. And now it takes me so much time just to figure out even where I need to go or how I need to do something that I could do like that in the old system. And on top of that, because you guys are so passionate about serving our customers and loving our customers and one another, you really hate disappointing both your internal and your external customers because of that. Um, Finally, I think there's a lot of people that are feeling like, gosh, I can't really see the scoreboard right now. So I don't know. I'm not sure if I'm winning or I'm losing. So I just kind of wanted to give you a little bit of perspective on each of those issues this morning, quickly as a team. So the first thing I just want to let you guys know, somewhere between 50 and 75% of all ERP system implementations fail. And I don't just mean like that they fail, like they didn't really go great and they didn't like the results or they spent too much money or it took too much time or anything like that. Pretty much all ERP systems take too much time and too much money relative to what you plan. I'm talking about 50 to 75% of ERP systems. They go live on the system fails, and they wind up going back to the system that they were on previously. The whole thing gets scrapped. It turns out to be an incredible waste of time and money and energy. 50 to 75%. So I just want you guys to know we are nowhere in the vicinity or the neighborhood of saying, gosh, maybe we need to pull this whole NetSuite thing out and go back to what we had before. We have had a couple of customer impacting issues that are of a meaningful nature. The biggest one being a sales tax issue that we're experiencing on the web, where customers were seeing that it looked as if we were going to charge them sales tax when in fact we did not. It took us till Thursday of last week to get through that issue so that we were displaying the correct information for our customers. But that's really been one of the biggest customer impacting issues that we faced. Second to that was an issue that we knew that was going to be a challenge going into the transition to the system, which is this idea of one-to-many customer relationships on the web. So when a customer is managing multiple facilities and buying for multiple facilities products, how they manage that process, how they log in, how they see the other facilities purchases and make purchases for them, see their invoices, things of that nature. And we have a process in place, kind of a workaround of a way to do that within NetSuite, but it does take some work with the customers one-on-one to really get that set up the way that's going to serve them best. So it's taken some time to get that done, but that was something that we knew was going to be an issue making this transition to NetSuite. But there are a lot of other wonderful things that NetSuite brings to the table that made us feel like that was a trade-off that we were willing to make for all the other positive things that came with NetSuite. Now, big picture, guys, I just want to say relative to most companies that are doing a new ERP system, we are killing it. Our board of directors is really floored and amazed at how little issues that we're having that are customer impacting. They're amazed about really how few challenges that we're facing. I continue to be amazed in my meetings with Garrett and sales leaders about what are the customer impacting issues that we're facing each day. We actually had a daily meeting about that since the beginning of Go Live to discuss those. And just in some of those conversations, it's been kind of a quiet meeting, which is exactly what we want. Really pleased with where we are in the process so far. So let's talk about the scoreboard and where we're at right now, right? It's a little bit hard for us to see all the information that we're normally that we're normally used to seeing in the business, right? Like our balanced business scorecard on the hub is something that's not really updating the way, is not updating right now. So it's kind of hard to see where we are on some of those key measures. But I just want to run down some of the numbers that we do have the information on to share with you guys, and we're hopeful to get it back to you guys in a way that you can see regularly. Same thing, time pace reports for our salespeople. Kind of feel like maybe they're flying blind right now. They don't really know where they stand. We're working hard to get that information for you guys. But just to give you the big picture, we are at 95% to our sales goal for the first quarter of this year. We are at approximately the same time pace as we came into the NetSuite system with. So we are on track with our sales objectives. And ask any salesperson if they're within a few points of time pace, and we got weeks left in the quarter, a lot of them feel good about getting to 100% of goal by the end of the quarter. And that is certainly our objective. I think we've got a lot of opportunity to do that. Out in Utah, we're caught up on shipping, where orders that are coming in, they're now going back out very quickly out in Utah. They've worked through the backlog and they're now processing current orders. In North Carolina, we're not very far behind that, and we're anticipating by as early as tomorrow, if not sooner, being at a place where we're processing orders that are coming in and that there's not a backlog that we're working through. Our customer service team is very close to clearing out the backlog that they are working with. Our pricing analysts that do quotes for the company are really effectively caught up with existing quotes. There's a handful sitting in the queue at a given time, but we're really caught up in that area. There have been over 500 minor issues logged and resolved in just the last 10 days or so in the system. So we're getting things resolved very quickly. And once again, these are minor issues, not major issues. From a web revenue standpoint, I just got the latest number from Dave a few minutes ago. We're about to cross the $1 million mark with our new website. We've had over 851 orders from more than 662 customers. And that is better than we've started a month for over 3/4 of the months of this year. So it's actually a really good web month that we're having, and that's with the transition to a completely new system and all of our customers having to reset their password as a part of this process. So I'm incredibly pleased with how our website is going. So I think there's a little bit about how we're doing from a scoreboard perspective. I just want to close with giving you guys a little bit of context about where we are in the big picture of this process, right? We're launching on mission this year. We launched our NetSuite system on March 1st. It took a heck of a lot of energy and planning and force to get us up those first few inches off of the ground as we launched and began entering orders into that system. But we are now well up off the launch pad and accelerating into the atmosphere. And as a part of that, right, we still got the rocket that's that's shaking. We're all inside the rocket and we're experiencing all of this, thousands of pounds of rocket fuel behind us, pushing us forward into the atmosphere. And there's this concept in rocket science called max Q. And max Q is when you hit the maximum resistance from the atmosphere, right? Maybe the issues that we're facing and we're trying to overcome, some of the learnings and training that we're trying to bring down into our hearts and our minds and our spirits. So it's becoming second nature of how we serve and love our customers with this new system. But it's overcoming the resistance of all of those things to continue to accelerate out further into the atmosphere and ultimately get into orbit where we're free floating around the Earth and things are a little bit more normative. And we're just operating even better than we were before we started this launch. So right now we're at that place about max Q. And that's for astronauts. What that means is they're experiencing about 3 times the force, the dynamic force that they do when you're just standing on Earth's gravitational field. And that's probably where a lot of you are right now. You're feeling like 3 times the pressure on you in your day-to-day job to try and get things done and keep moving things forward when we're still learning the system and we're not quite sure where it's at and what we do in the next step and how we communicate effectively with other parts of the team that are moving orders forward. So right now we're really, we're at that max Q space. And I believe we are a few short days and weeks away from really getting beyond that to where we're getting actually to the part of the atmosphere where the air gets thinner the further you go up into the atmosphere. And so the resistance becomes less right? And your ability to actually continue to accelerate and get faster increases. And that's how rockets ultimately leave